Do you remember when you were a kid and you would climb in a tree? If you ever heard the snap of the branch around you, what do you do? If you're way off the ground, you better get close to the trunk for safety and maybe get off. That's what a lot of people heard this last week as SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, went under, was taken over by the Federal Reserve Insurance Corporation, as well as the U.S. Treasury stepping in to effectively bail out the bank. So what does that mean to you? What does it mean to interest rates? Let's dive in and check it out. I'm Brian, your mortgage insider.
Have seen the seesaw effect take place. The 10-year Treasury is actually up 10 basis points. The Consumer Price Index came out today with less year-over-year inflation, still at a rate of 6% on the headline. 5.5% is the core rate of inflation. This is a decrease. I've got a couple things to go over when it comes to that today, but the snap of the branch, I want to talk about that. The 10-year Treasury, if we just look at just the last 6 months here, we can see last Friday that basically we had been on a run since February. Early February was the low points for the 10-year Treasury rates this year. We'd kind of bounced along that number since December. We had risen at the first of the year and then come down literally from February 2nd to the peak on March the 2nd. So basically 30 days, roughly, just under 30 days to literally it fell yesterday to almost the same lows that it was at back in early February this year. So that's the branch snapping. Now here's a chart of Consumer Price Index over the last couple of years. We've got 4 years of data here. The 12-month change, we can see the huge increase here. So 2021, we saw the inflation rates, both the core and the headline inflation, really head higher. They tracked the same way, but the core inflation did moderate through last year while we peaked in the summertime around June 2022. So we've seen this fall significantly, still an extremely high rate of inflation that's more than triple what we have seen over the last, lows of the last 4 years. Now this was extremely low inflation. We had a huge drop in inflation, and then with all the QE, all the money that got poured into the economy, that's what spurred this inflation. So what do we think is going to happen coming up in the near future? Let's take a look. And we're now replacing this March 14th today. We had a 0.4% reduction in year-over-year inflation. Now this particular chart shows the shelter 43% of the total consumer price index compared with the total core inflation, which was down or up 5.5% last year and is down slightly this year. So we've seen a moderation in this inflation in just the short term. So now we have a couple months to look ahead here. We have consumer price index as it's going to be replaced again on April 12th. That was a relatively low number in last year. So since we have a reduced rate of inflation, we can expect in April likely to see a higher or flatter curve on the year-over-year core consumer price index. So here's where we might see some significant change is coming again in April. Another reduction in consumer price index like we saw today could bring year-over-year inflation rates even further. So basically this month we stayed current at 5.5% for the core rate of inflation. Over the next couple months, and we're circling May 10th as the next significant date when it comes to just consumer price index as a piece to the puzzle, but that's not the whole puzzle. We have banks like Silicon Valley Bank going out of business. That is adding a lot of fuel to the fire that really brought down the interest rate short term. But the macroeconomics, the information that's going to make the longer term decisions is going to be coming out over the next couple months. So keep an eye on the next 60 days and we'll come back to you. So back to the 10-year Treasury, we are up today. That is a reaction to the bottom of hitting the 200-day average here this last couple days. We're actually stopped right now, still very low at 3.64%. It wasn't just a couple 10 days ago. We were at, not even 10 days ago, 4.06%.
So as we come back from this crazy 10-day period where we saw the year-to-date highs on interest rates and then suddenly testing the year-to-date lows here pretty soon, we are going to keep an eye on things and stay in touch. If you need anything or have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Put up the phone number. Give me a call. Take care.